Funky Politics.
You're listening to Funky Politics, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC, sitting here along with the most powerful co-host in the world, Tosha Downey, Doc Ward. How are y'all?
Is that host or hostess?
Hostess is like a church.
Because you said the most powerful hostess is the word.
I had to put some instances on it.
Yeah, you got to put some instances.
Whatever. Hey, look.
Funky Politics.
Funky Politics. That's what we are, man. What we doing today? What we doing today?
What we're doing today?
Yeah. What are we doing in this country today?
We emphasize and realize that we are here to criticize and synthesize. One thing we don't do is apologize because we Funky Politics. Everything we say is real, right, and funky. If you don't like it,
get the funk out of here.
Ooh, wee.
See, there you go.
There you go, man. That's the DC I know.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get radical up in this house.
What did I do to deserve this?
I don't know. You came in town today. You should have been delayed by a day.
There you go.
Look, on today's show, Tosha, we've got, I think, one of the great warriors we have in our community who are fighting for children, who are fighting for families.
We like to call them gladiators.
We call them gladiators now? See, where I come from, we call them warriors.
Gladiators.
Okay,
I am Spartacus.
But
I'm not Cory Booker.
We've got the one and only Miss Sarah Carpenter, who happens to be the executive director of Memphis Lift. Welcome to Funky Politics. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank
you.
you.
She's here with the sword and shield.
She with the sword and shield.
Sword and shield.
I'm going to pass the play.
The whole armor.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to pass the play.
Look,
armor. Miss Carpenter, we want to get right into this thing. Let's talk about the state of education. We can talk about it from a national perspective, but let's get down into our communities, right? And our community right here is Memphis, right? Memphis and Shelby County.
Right.
What do you see the state of education from I guess a micro point of view? Just a
DC.
What you do?
Just a snapshot.
Are we talking about public education or all education?
Well, I'm not talking about post secondary. I'm talking about public education
public education.
K through 12.
You're talking about all of it.
You're talking about public education.
Talking about public. Go ahead,
the kind your grandchildren get.
Right.
The kind everybody.
Don't worry about these folks over here.
I say we're in a state of emergency. I say that because I got 13 grandbabies and I got a great grandbaby now. And I fight for a community that, God, we don't have great schools in our community. And I live in North Memphis, and I think our kids deserve just what the kids in Kyville get, the kids at White Station, and any other great school.
Wow. So
I say a state of emergency.
But you said you don't get the same things. Once upon a time, I remember the Klondike area, North Side, Smoky City, all the area around it is an area full of pride, full of education, full of vigor, full of excitement, a community that loved and cared about each other. So what's going on now? What has happened differently that's got us to the point to where we're saying,
I can speak to that because my girls went to Northside and they graduated from Northside. We had people in that building that cared about kids.
Right.
They had a lot to offer. They had cosmetology. They had shop. They had auto mechanic.
Right.
They had everything at Northside. And, I mean, they had programs that our kids would go to. One of my girls was in Achieve Academy. It was like a school inside of a school.
Right.
And, man, it made a whole lot of difference in my girl's life. I mean, she's that child like me, and she outgoing and never meet a stranger. So, I mean, people mentored those kids.
Right.
Achieve Academy was awesome. So
funded in part by the city of Memphis at the time. Yes. So now we don't have the city of Memphis funding education anymore.
Well,
might that be a part of it?
They say that they're out of the business of education. That's what the city.
How can you be out of the business of education when the children are still in the city? I think if you got children growing up in your city, you're always in the business of education.
You're always in the business of education, but
from
your business ain't writing a check.
Yeah.
Right? We can talk about it, we can bully people, but we ain't writing a check.
But if it don't make dollars,
it don't make sense.
There you go.
But one of the things we can't, Sarah talked about North Side and the realities there. Like there is what happened in North Side is the same thing that happens on the South Side. It's the same thing that happens in Orange Mound and Southeast Memphis too. Like, there has been a real disinvestment in communities, right? There used to be businesses in North Memphis. There used to be Firestone, all these things. Talk about where you've seen the divestment in your community and how that's impacted education in your community.
We still got Buckman Laboratories in our community, but I don't know what they do for our community. We had Lane and Bowling. I mean, a prominent job. People were working. We had businesses in our community. We took pride in our community, like you said. Right. I know that my girls would fight about Northside. I mean, they loved their school, and they took pride in it. Even in our communities, we took pride in our communities. And I'm still taking pride in the Hyde Park community because I love where I am, and I believe that's where I'm supposed to be at this time in my life. So.
But what's different? Because I always say this. I tell people, now I went to Booker T. Washington, and 30 years ago, Booker T. Washington wasn't able to compete. Yeah. Well, here, let me tell you. See, now we live fictions because we want to say, Booker T. Washington was great. It wasn't. We were on a priority list if there was such a thing as a priority list.
30 years
It was
ago?
on a priority list in 1990. Like, let's be clear. Because here's the math. Do the math. I look at my friends and I see who are the leaders in the industry in this city, right? When you look at people of color. Now, Dr. Harrington's generation at Booker T. Washington is something.
Yeah. Right.
But my generation, my friends ain't those people. Like, they not the leaders of the city. They're not. So.
Is it because they left the city?
So when did it start? Like, this didn't just start. The slide of community and education impact, this didn't just start.
Well, do you want to, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah.
The first thing that happened socially is that you had integration, because what we're talking about is African Americans for the most part. And when African Americans started to be able to traverse the city to not just go places to work and shop, but to live.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the communities that had been central to us and our development started to get dispersed. You know, when you have a limited amount of growth, I mean, where you can go and you can live, you're going to have your good apples, your bad apples, your medium apples, your red apples, your yellow, Fiji and a Honeycrisp and all of that. And everybody was together and everybody knew they had to be together. But once integration began, not just from a moving standpoint, but working in corporate America, that was the beginning of it. That would probably start in around 1970, 1980. Okay. Because it takes a little while for these things to kick in. Then you've had the influx, and I'm going to say it, the optional school had a lot to do with that. Mm-hmm. Because
that was an integration byproduct.
Right.
And keep white people in
an effort
city.
to try to maintain, I'm going to say it nicely, in an effort to try to maintain diversity in Memphis City schools. In other words, keep the white people here. There were schools that were established that were optional schools. And so those magnet schools drew people away from neighborhoods like Northside.
Keep talking. You are listening to the Funky Politics, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
BTW. Some Hamilton area, but Hamilton folks still had the pride.
They looked good going to school. They wasn't that smart, though.
Anyway.
Oh, my God.
And so then when you start drawing a kid away from the community, he's going to high school. Instead of going to Northside, he's going to Central. Mm-hmm. Or instead of going to Fairleigh or Hillcrest, he's going to Whitehaven. What interest does he have in this community where he came from after he goes off to college and wants to come back? So what you probably be looking at, I'm guessing, is a decline in the community based on those draws pulling people away.
So brain draining.
My question to you, Sarah, is if that's the case, that people are getting pulled away by other opportunity, but they're still here in Memphis, how are you all, Memphis Lift, Northside, Cougar Pride, how do you get people back to investing in Northside? How do you get them back to loving Northside the way they used to? How do you get them back to loving Klondike the way they used to?
I mean, actually, Northside is closed now.
Right. I mean the area of town. I know the school is it closed or reprogrammed?
It's closed.
But Manassas is still there.
Yeah, Manassas.
So you still got Manassas.
Right.
Yeah.
You still got, who else over there in the district?
Treadwell, Douglas is real. How do you get people back there? I mean, we know Elizabeth Warren was in Douglas not too long ago, but how do you get people back? How do you rebuild that pride?
I think it got to start with our babies. Mm-hmm. You can't start with the young adults now because the pride is gone. Mm-hmm. So I think it start with kindergarten. Mm-hmm. It start there early. To me, it start to have pride in your community. We just got to face the fact that once you get a certain age, you done lost that pride. How do you get it back when all you see is blight and all you see is nothing really? I'll just put it like that. You don't see nothing in our community anymore. And our elected officials not even pouring into our community. And you talked about city government.
Right.
where I come from, I pay city and county taxes.
Right.
So why the city not investing in school? The city should invest in school, and that's another fight for another day problem.
Well, let me pick on. I don't want to pick a fight with you, but I want to ask you about.
Can.
I want no, because
you lose.
My arms are too short. To
You ain't
box.
got your weight up.
Whatever. Memphis Lift. I want to back up a little bit. Tell me, what is it that Memphis Lift? And you founded this organization, right? Let's get a little context for our listeners out there.
Let's do it.
Because Memphis Lift is something that I saw that says that you guys educate, you engage, and you empower. I think I got that right, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Tell me how you do that. How do you, as Miss, and I'll call you Miss Sarah Carpenter, how do you do that, Miss Carpenter?
We start with a 10-week fellowship that Miss Fields, who went through the first fellowship with me, and she teach parents. She bring guest speakers in, and we had Dr. McKinney and do the landscape of education in Memphis. And really, when we look at it, our education system wasn't even built for our kids. And
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
I mean, it started in 1856. I may be wrong, but I think I seen this last night on her PowerPoint. It wasn't even made for our kids. I don't know what I mean about that, but you can see it today that our kids not getting it.
Well, in 1856. We all in a very different position, right?
We know DC
we were still in the schoolhouse, but we wasn't in the schoolhouse.
So it was a certain type of system.
Allowed to even read,
right?
Yeah, we know DC's folks. Y'all still shaking the chain.
Whatever. Go ahead and finish about Memphis because I want our listeners to get the context of what you do.
Like last night, some of our parents come in that building, y'all, they don't even know that it's per pupil funding that the schools get. They don't even know the basic stuff. They don't know these things. And I cringe when I hear people say poor black people don't care about their kids' education. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Please speak on that. Say more.
I have seen, I done seen all kind of parents, and I was that young parent that didn't know, but when I learned better, I did better. And I know drug addict parents, and you can talk to them, and I do talk to them. They want their kids to do great and better than they did. I haven't met a parent yet that don't care about their kids.
Wow.
Right.
I haven't. Yeah, we got so much work to do. It made me sad to even talk about it, really, because people, you talk about it, you educating these parents, and they ready to go to war. I watched our 11th class start last night. Right. These parents sitting there, and the more that Miss Fields was feeding them, they were getting angry. That's the way they should be angry about this. Right. I'm angry that my granddaughter go off to college and got to take remedial classes. I'm angry about it because she should be ready.
Right.
I got a grandson, 11th grade. Now, I went to the school. I said, look, he been here since 5th grade. We know, I don't think he want to go to college, but he should be talking about a career. Y'all should be talking about a career to him. And we should, too, at home, too. That's don't misunderstand me. Right. But he had school more awakening hours, and you promised us this when you came to our community, and that's what I'm expecting.
Right.
So,
and Memphis Lift is an advocate.
Right. And we do choice counseling. Parents walk in our office every day looking for another school because something that happened at a school. And Miss Renee go with those parents to tour better schools. I ain't gonna say they great, but they better than where the kids were.
Right.
And she take those kids and get them in those schools. We got a SPED coordinator.
Okay.
IEPs, I know nothing about it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I know nothing about it. Miss Terry worked with us. Her daughter go to Tennessee School for the Blind. She know about special ed, so that's her niche, and she help parents navigate that IEP and all that SPED stuff. I mean, y'all, these parents, and if from what I'm hearing, that if the federal government came, somebody would be in jail. A lot of people would be in jail about SPED because they not doing right by our kids. I'm pulling up something.
No. What you're saying is, you ain't gotta go because I understand I see your passion, and I've read enough about what Memphis Lift does, and I've seen your TED Talk. I think we all know that there's a lot more that we should have done, that we hadn't done, but we got to do, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we just got to do it.
We got to do it, and y'all, we spent at the Memphis Lift, we spend 80% of our time fighting people that look like us.
Get out of here. Oh, Lord.
That look like
So
me.
you're telling me that this ain't a bunch of nefarious, ill-intentioned white people?
No, ma'am.
Exacting these horrors?
No, ma'am. No,
of
ma'am.
inadequate education on poor black and brown children here in Memphis?
No.
Say more.
No, ma'am. It's people like our school board.
Hold that note. I want you to hold that note.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying stop telling the truth, but hold the truth, because right now we're going to take a quick break. Okay. We'll be right back, y'all, right here on Funky Politics with the one and only Sarah Carpenter of Memphis Lift.
Shake your thing. Do what you wanna do.
Funky Politics on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Funky Politics.
We're back with Funky Politics. I'm DC, sitting here along with Tosha and Doc Ward, and we are visiting with and getting a schooling from Miss Sarah Carpenter of Memphis Lift, and we were talking a little bit about your opinion about how you think that on the district level here in Shelby County, Memphis Shelby County, that you're not seeing the.
You being all politically correct. She said school board ain't doing nothing.
Okay,
say more.
Praise the Lord. Go ahead.
It sure does save time.
I know.
When you get to the point.
Was I trying to dress it up, y'all?
Trying to make it all nice.
I say we spend 80% of our time like fighting people that look like us, that you vote for, you send to that school board to represent you,
right?
And they get there and they don't represent you. We working on a campaign. Tosha know the campaign we working on, unified enrollment. We tried Fresh Start, right? You remember Fresh Start?
Yes, I've heard of that.
We tried all that. We tried all their ways, and it haven't worked for our children. And we take this to them, and they want to give us the runaround about it and want to worry about charter schools doing it and district schools not doing it. No, we want every school to do it because we think it level the playing field for all kids.
Tell us what it is. Tell us what it is. Unified enrollment. Break it down.
Parents will go to one place and register all their kids. If I got 13 grandbabies.
Right.
And one of my daughters go 4 different ways in the morning time to take her kids to school.
Right.
It's not fair. When she could register at one central location online and pick her top schools that she want her kids in, and you're bound to get one of those schools. So optional schools don't work for our community. Optional schools, I got a grandson only a grandmother could love. I mean,
no, that's what my mother said about me.
And I mean,
she's talking about your face.
If he got an N in conduct, do you think Idlewild gonna take him?
Ooh.
Right.
One of our team members, little boy, smart, and I know he's smart.
Right.
He had a C on his report card, and he got turned down from an optional school.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the optional school model. And I don't want to just beat it to death. I think it was good for what it was good for when it was good for what it was good for. But is it time? Do you think that it's time for us to begin looking at alternative things, dismantling it, so to speak?
Of course, I do. That's why.
And why do you believe that?
Because all kids don't have a chance at optional schools.
Wow.
And
you mean a chance to actually get in and go?
To get in, right.
Okay. And you think that model would probably be served better if we tried to just emulate it across the board versus put it in a few pockets?
Right. I do, and that's what unified enrollment would do. You will have an opportunity. The parents will have an opportunity to pick their top 3 to 7 schools, and they bound to get one of them.
Wow.
It went the creaming process. They couldn't do that. Schools are creaming, and I'm not just talking about district schools. I'm talking about charter schools too. Are creaming kids and screening kids that go in there because they want their test scores to go up. If I bring my child to you, and you're supposed to be a great school, if you're an optional school, if he got all F's, you an optional school, you're supposed to be able to help this child get where he need to be, and that's what's going on in our city. The great schools don't want the kids that's not making the grade. If you're so great, you could help anybody. So that's the way I feel.
I call that winning with class deals, right? People want to talk about being, we're great. We're winning all the races. Well, you started with all thoroughbreds. So if you start with thoroughbreds, you're supposed to win the races.
You're playing with house money.
You're great.
Your deck is
when
loaded.
You got some class deals that you can make run real.
Your dice are loaded.
Right.
You got all the chips.
Let me see. I was reading an article the other New York public schools, and I'm jumping somewhere around the country.
Don't
New York public schools have got a optional program. 8% tested in. They only took 8% of African American
898 kids
that tested in.
Applied.
So I'm not so sure this is not something that's not just relegated to our community. Maybe it's a countrywide, because I know Nashville's got a magnet school system. Should we go? Is a magnet the same thing as an option?
It is.
Maybe they are the same
so
thing,
what we know is that in any district, Chicago Public Schools, same thing.
Yeah.
You got 10 selective enrollment schools. You get 50,000 applicants. Chicago public schools 85% free or reduced lunch.
And then you
The
have
15% get all the spots.
And then in Chicago, you have the Jesuits.
We ain't even talking about
So bring it back
what
to
you're
Memphis.
saying, so the truth is, in any city, in any corner of America, the children with the most opportunities and access already get the best seats.
But look at what we're dealing with right now, even in the college level.
Fight me.
But look at what we're dealing with right now in the college level. You've got people, actors and actresses and folks of note out here paying millions of dollars for their below average performing kids to go to school, stealing scholarships from otherwise worthy people. So it's a situation, it's a rich get richer sort of situation, or pay to play situation all across the board. My question though is, how do you level it? I understand what you're saying that you're trying to do, but how does that school choice of top 3 to 7, how does that level the playing field, or at least get us back to where everybody's going to their own school, their own neighborhood, and building their neighborhoods through those folks being there. But they're all interrelated.
But here's the truth. Like, now, one thing you cannot miss, what you talk about, and Doc, you cannot. Now, I can fight with you about LaRose, and we don't have kids at LaRose, but it's 2 houses on my parents' block. So it is not fiscally prudent for us to say, oh, well, we're going to have every opportunity. We want every opportunity for all these children in South Memphis. But we only got 10 kids in the whole zip code zone where my area is. So we're going to run one school building for 10 kids?
Maybe in that situation.
Is that smart?
But the former superintendent came on this show and told us that Carver High School, in Memphis, Tennessee, closed not because there weren't enough kids in the zoned area to go, but because 40% of the kids in the zoned area were going to Central High School or other schools. So now
that's the whole story.
I'm just saying that's what it said. I can only
nice
be real
say,
right.
But I don't know that's
but so while LaRose may be one way,
he's not the superintendent.
Yeah, and there's a plan for that area. There are other schools that are losing enrollment because they're being drawn away to some of the other magnets. It doesn't make any sense to me. One school have 3,000 kids.
Well, can we not mandate? If you are in that district, in that zone, that you stay in that zone?
But I want to hear more about what
Sarah, do you want that? Do you want, you live across the street from Northside, do you want that to be the only school your child can go to?
I want to have a choice of schools.
Right.
I want the best school, number one. I want a choice. If Northside not working and it evidently wasn't working for our children, and I want to be able to go to White Station if my baby want to go to White Station. Do that make sense?
It does make sense. But let me ask you this question. And when you're listening to Funky Politics, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network, why wasn't Northside working? And at one time, Northside did work.
It did. I
Northside
think
was a prideful school for
we just said that.
A bunch of years. Let me finish, Doc.
Community evaporated.
Thank you. No, the community didn't. People are still living there. So the community did not evaporate because what happened was it was bad policy by the city and by the county that what they did, that's bad policy.
Not the same density.
You can go from HCD all to the rest of them.
But if LaRose is the best school, if LaRose is better than Cumming and Bruce and White Station, I'm gonna get my behind in that car every day and drive 45 whole minutes. So what was not happening at Northside was that you weren't producing a good enough product for me to send my babies in your building.
Or maybe we just moved.
So now we ain't gonna be honest about that?
Or maybe
we just moved. Maybe we moved to Hickory Hill.
Again,
maybe we moved to
I'm gonna move to Mississippi. And if that school is the best, they got art, they got foreign language,
but why
they got
do they have art and foreign language?
They got a this and a that.
But why
I'm gonna get in my car and go.
But why do they have that versus Northside? Because it seems to me like it's a pile on.
Good school. I'm going.
When you get something, you get more. The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer.
I mentioned to Dorsey Hobson, and we made friends in the end, and I love him today. If you got parents lining up to get in Idlewild, Valentine not that great. Make a Idlewild North campus and get them the same resource, and guess what? We'll fill your school up. I fought to get Shannon closed in my community because it wasn't working. People were stopping me at the corner store saying, Miss Sabre, they passed my baby on to middle school and he can't even read.
Lord.
My daughter leave North Memphis every day and drive to South Memphis to Vision Prep. I call names now because I'm 57 and
can't nobody do nothing to you.
Can't nobody bother me.
There you go.
Drive to Vision Prep, baby reading reading.
Right.
She passed 4 schools in our neighborhood. Then she leave Vision Prep and go to GTW. Then she leave there and go to Mars, and then circle back around. It's 4 schools. She go to Kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, downtown.
She got to work just to drive her.
It's not fair. It's not fair when you should just be able to walk out your door and walk around the corner to a school. If it's there.
Yeah, the building was there. It was built there.
And it's there.
But here's the thing, but it should be something unique in those spaces. Because what I always say is this is like, how do we make what's available to poor parents? Because for real, 3 of us ain't having this conversation. I got checkbook choice and zip code choice. Yeah. I live in one of the best zip codes in the city. All schools in my neighborhood good. And if schools wasn't good enough, guess what? I write a check. Yeah, that's right. So if I wanted my child to study Spanish, well, I'm going to pay for the Spanish school. If I wanted my child to do more art, I'm going to pay for them to go to the art school. Poor parents, that's what they don't have. That's what they don't have.
And since your city is what, 38% in poverty, and you have kids under the 3rd grade kids, okay, almost 40% of those kids are in poverty. That's a lot of children.
It is.
It's enough for you to have an agenda for. It's enough you have to build some type of platform for, because today's poor kids become tomorrow's poor adults. And if you want your city to ever have a fighting chance with the economy, you have to, as you said earlier, start investing in our younger children.
I want to talk about the long-term strategies of Memphis Lift, and we're jumping all over the place, but I need to know, what strategies do you all have in place that's going to help us move this needle, that's going to point the needle upward, at least, or somewhere other than where it is right now, in your estimation?
I think when you educate parents that never been at the table, we can move the needle, because parents got to invest also, and parents got to take pride in education, and they got to value education. And when you open their eyes, I promise you, these parents never been to the table. You go to the school, they treat you like crap because you don't look like them or you don't speak like them. Nobody intimidate me when I go into school, when I got grandbabies in that school. I pay your car note. My baby help pay your car note. That's the way I walk into school thinking like that. Like, you work for me. We don't work for you. And what happened at Northside, I'm going to go back right quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Teachers. The teachers that really cared about children. At Northside, when my girls were there, you had teachers that really poured into kids and cared about kids and wasn't afraid of our kids. Teachers walking in the building now, they're afraid of our kids. They're afraid of our kids.
Sarah, are they afraid, or do they have a different set of expectations? Do they have a low expectation?
Low expectations.
For who our students are? Or are they terrified?
Both.
And I always talk about that. Everything goes back to expectation. Whatever you expect out of a kid, that's what you get. Same thing at home. If I expect LaJerica to make her bed up in the morning, she gonna get up out of that bed and make it up. Right. But if I don't never say nothing, she ain't gonna make that bed up. When them kids walk in that school, if the expectations way to the sky, they'll reach that. Kids reach whatever you put in front of them.
Yeah.
I believe that to my heart. And they not expecting our kids. They come with notion that, oh, we going to save little black children. Right. No, you're not coming to save our children. You coming to teach our babies. We not looking for sympathy. We just want a little empathy.
Well, that's the white people possession, but you said it's most of these people. So now what are these people saying?
I say we forgot where we came from.
Oh, okay.
If you was born in Memphis, you couldn't come from but a few places. Sure. North Memphis, South Memphis,
Orange Mountain,
Whitehaven, Orange Mountain.
And not always Whitehaven.
Not always Whitehaven, you're right. So you could, how you forget that quick? How you forget?
Right.
When you got black teachers treating our kids just as bad, worse than white teachers at some time.
I got to ask this question because you're in the mix and you're right there in the middle, and you're listening to Funky Politics powered by KUDZUKIAN Network. Where is the church in all of this?
Where is the church?
Where is the institution that we know is the ubiquitous institution formerly known as the black church?
They on every corner.
But that's the building
preserving the patriarchy.
But I'm talking about beyond the building. The church is just the building. The church itself is a building, but the institution of the people. Where is, in connection with what you're doing and other community-based efforts?
We had a pastor's open house, and the pastors came out and was concerned and believed in what we were doing.
Right.
And one church in the community, we work with them. I mean, and he loved the work that we do.
Are they reaching the people like they used to?
I don't think so. It's like a business now. I mean, when really you supposed to be out there in the highways and byways helping people, I feel like. And again, they there.
Well,
but have we what have we asked them for as a community? That's the question. What have we asked for?
That's a very good question.
We've asked them for hope. They giving us hope.
But have we asked for
And no
that hope?
change.
Yeah. Have we walked, hope? Have we walked in church on Sunday morning in our community and say, "Hey, we need hope here"? No, we haven't.
I think you're right.
It's just like city government, county government. What have we asked them for?
Right.
And our community's not asking for anything.
Right.
Don't you know if we show up by the hundreds at county commission, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But I mean, and demand what we want at the city. We send our kids to school every day, city of Memphis. We sit in the city. We pay city taxes. We demand that y'all pour some money into the school and not just district school.
Squeaky wheel.
Well, let me ask you this. We got to get out of here, but Ms. Carpenter, give us a phone number or a website that folks can go to, because they need to see your TED Talk, number one. They need to listen to this podcast because you just poured into our spirit on today, okay? I want to see the work that you do increase by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, okay? So give us a website, a phone number that we can get out to our listeners so they can pour into your program.
My number is 901-864-5004. Our website is thememphislift.org.
We'll repeat that one more time for folks who, like me, a little slow. I'm trying to write.
901-864-5004. Our website is thememphislift.org.
And the boss over there is the one and only Sarah Carpenter. And you're listening to Funky Politics, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Keeping it real, right, and funky.
I think one of the things that makes a difference is having an African-American man who leads as the executive editor. So I'm always about this girl power. One of the other things we've been talking about is youth and their interaction with the justice system.
Funky Politics on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN 3.
Am I going to sit there and argue with you over we had steak 2 days ago, I want chicken?
B.
I'm going to be spicy all the time. I don't care if I'm single or not.
C.
I think that the foundation is how you were brought up.
3 Black Chicks on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.